All right, everybody. Well, hey, welcome to Note Night in America, everybody. Glad to have you this Monday night. Got some great stuff to go through tonight with you guys. I know a lot of you are excited about tonight's call to help you out and really kind of clarify some of the things that you're focused on as you're getting started or expanding into new markets or literally figuring out what the heck should I be doing, where should I be investing, and what comes next. So tonight's discussion all about choosing markets. Got some great stuff with you guys to be going through and absolutely just jacked up for tonight's call. Spent a lot of time on this over the last couple of days, helping you guys identify some things, and I think you guys are going to get a lot out of tonight. So if you don't have a pen or paper there next to you, you probably want to grab one. You probably want to go ahead and start taking notes because it's going to be a fun evening tonight with some great stuff to talk about. So, but anyway, first though, as always, I started off with our kind of our mission statement. One of the big things that we are focusing on over the next couple of years, not just this year, is to help educate and create 10,000 note investors. I'm a big believer that we've got a lot of stuff going to be hitting the market here in the next 12, 24 months as the economy changes, the market changes. You already see things going up with some of the things that the economists are talking about. And I'm a big believer that note investors can really definitely help out with what's going on. We can help make America great again, one mortgage, one note at a time. So that's our big goal, to help us educate and create 10,000 note investors in the next 4.5 years. But this is Note Night in America. Who's on the call? Because I know we got some people join us for the first time. We've got a variety of real estate investors who are active or passive. We've got obviously a lot of note mortgage investors, people that are buying distressed debt, non-performing debt, performing, all that good stuff. We have people looking to get into notes, just exchanged emails with a couple people like, oh, I'm going to get into the note game. Where should I begin? I'm like, hey, jump on a call tonight. It'll be a good start for you. All right. Yes, I've hit the record button. These calls are recorded for you. As always, if you want to catch the replays, it's not hard to do. You just have to go to weclosenotes.tv to watch our whole library of information that's available to you. Because we've got, obviously, you guys that know it, we've got literally thousands of videos out there at weclosenotes.tv, which is our Vimeo account, or you can go to YouTube as well and look for We Close Notes on there as well. So I'm just clicking on one more button here to be able to answer questions from those that are joining us. There we go. Perfect. So, oh, man, what a busy, rainy weekend. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July weekend. Absolutely busy here. But one of the big things I also want to give you guys a reminder of is you can also catch these replays if you're out traveling by literally going to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, whatever. They are available on iTunes and all those things as a podcast for you to download and listen to. So if you got a bugger out, can't make it the entire thing, the replays usually take about 5 or 6 days before they get up on iTunes, but they're there in case you missed it. And we've got the all the Note Night in Americas from 2018 on there. We won't be adding anything from the previous years just because the information changes on what we do, but you can catch those on iTunes as well. Also, I highly encourage you guys, if you aren't listening to our podcast, please do so. Episode 300 is about to drop on iTunes as well tonight at midnight. Over 118,000 downloads, over 125,000 views on Facebook, and our Vimeos from those who are watching the live episode. So big thank you for those that watch and listen. Want to go through because we've got some upcoming events that you guys will probably want to take advantage of to listen in or to learn or attend. Tomorrow night, actually, in Houston, I'll be at the Quest IRA offices for their $1 trillion mixer. I'm the main speaker tomorrow night. Excited about it. I'm going to be doing a different presentation than what you're seeing tonight. A little bit different. One I've never done before, but tweaked it up a little bit, so it'll be very relevant for those that are going to be there. Also, we'll probably end up live streaming it out, and so you'll get 2 nights of me if you watch tomorrow night as well, back to back. You'll have enough of the note guy. This weekend, actually this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this is a new event that we're doing, and literally we're doing a note roadshow. Literally, Steph and I are flying out to an undisclosed location to share with you later. I'm going to spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday driving assets. Literally, I go through more of that stuff in a minute. After that, next weekend is not this coming weekend, but the following weekend is our virtual note buying dummies workshop, and the virtual note buying workshop. Excited about that. We'll have a full house of that, probably close to 200 people be a part of the virtual note buying workshop. Also, if you are a WCN Crew member, where you're part of the membership and you'd like to repeat, you get to. So just drop me an email, and we'll make sure and get you added into there. So if you're part of the monthly WNC Career membership, you get a repeat at no additional cost. So feel free to drop a message, and I'll be glad to get that out to you. Podcast Movement, I'll be flying actually the following week into Philadelphia. We'll be doing some live of our Note Closer show up in the Philadelphia market at Podcast Movement. Excited to be a part of that event with 8,500 podcasters. And that reminds me, I've got another presentation I got to get together for that. And then we are really excited to be flying directly to Las Vegas for our Note Boardroom, which is 2 days of really intensive coaching with a dozen people. Really, really excited. So our mastermind group is not like our fast track. We've got some cool stuff for those that want to take their business to the next level but can't afford it or looking to have something a little bit cheaper than what we charge for a mastermind. And then, of course, I highly encourage you guys, if you're in the Ohio market, there's a Note Summit taking place the 11th and 12th of August in actually at the, not really Cincinnati, I think it's Mason, Ohio. I'll have a direct link emailed out to you guys later this week, letting you know about that. It's put on by Venus Cox. Excited. Donna Barbie speaking there along with myself. Bill Griesmer's actually got a session to be speaking at, along with Scott Brown from Burrell, or Franco's partner, Franco Burrell. Really, it's a great 2-day intensive note training aspect of things is what it's called. So I'm looking forward to being that part there. Then our Note Mastermind, golly, August and July just back-to-back full of stuff, man. I'm not going to know if I'm coming or going. August 23rd and 24th, there's a Note Mastermind in Dallas, Texas, followed up with the Quest Expo. And yes, the Quest Expo, you still have the availability to get 25% off by using the code WCNExpo when you go to questexpo.com. All right. I saw a couple comments pop up. What questions? We got one question here, Q&A. Thank you. Great Wolf Lodge in Mason, Ohio, Bill. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Awesome. I know I had a lot of people reach out to me over the last couple of days and say, hey, tell me a little bit more about the Note Boardroom. And like I said previously, it's a small 12-person only coaching for 2 days, Friday, Saturday. We'll go through how to find sources. We'll help you with marketing. Literally, we'll dive in a chunk into asset structuring, along with marketing, raising capital, and we're going to bring in some deals for them to break down and go through a one-on-one. So we're pretty stoked about that. 2 days at the Wynn Hotel and Casino. It's a $2,500 ticket for you and your spouse or you and your partner to attend. We've only got 12 spots total, and over half of those are already booked right now. So we've only got like 5 seats available. I know a lot of people are like, leaning towards maybe should I sign up for the mastermind? What's the difference? Well, this is not the mastermind. We're not going to give you my list of asset managers. I'm not going to give you that stuff because that's worth a whole lot more. But it gives you an opportunity to come in. We will spend some time helping you structure your business, helping get things rock and rolling. And the beautiful thing is if you decide you want to end up signing up for the mastermind at a later time, we'll actually credit that $2,500 that you're paying towards the full cost of the mastermind. So you won't really lose out on anything. So like I said, that is July 27th and 28th. It's a Friday, Saturday in Las Vegas at the Wynn Resort. So if you're interested, drop me an email at Scott@WeCloseNotes. Title of the email, Note Boardroom, and we'll make sure and get you a link out and get you signed up for that. All right? Anyway, basically there you go. 2 days intensive focus on asset sources, markets, raising capital, marketing, systems, assets. Questions before we dive into the content tonight, everybody? Any questions before we dive into content? We got somebody on the chat roll here. Oops. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hi, Gail. Hi, everybody. Hey, Laura. Hey, Bill. Good stuff. All right. So let's dive into the content. Let's talk about the reason y'all are here tonight, right? Let's talk about markets. Now, choosing markets is one of the most kind of scary things that people do when they come to a workshop. I was just talking to somebody a minute ago. Oh, I'm in South Carolina, or North Carolina. I don't remember which Carolina they're part of. And we want to buy. We want to take action. I'm like, okay, what have you learned? And they're like, we want to buy all of them. I'm like, well, no, that doesn't make sense. Because let's face it, if you've been in this business for longer than 6 months of actually getting tapes or reaching out to asset managers, you find that not every market is created equal. Okay? Not every market is the same foreclosure time frame. And definitely most don't even have the same inventory levels, right? Josh asked the question, can I do notes with only $4,000? Thanks. Well, one of the big things we talk about, Josh, is not using your own money. So yes, we have a lot of people that are using other people's money to fund their deals to work them out. So you can save your $4,000 and sign up for a boardroom or use it for some miscellaneous costs along the way. Because often you can buy stuff cheaper and add a little bit extra. So yeah, Josh, definitely. So let's dive into it. But anyway, choosing a market to invest with. It's like buying Monopoly. Now, you're not going to be buying like Park Place or the railroad stuff, but some things you got to keep in mind when you're playing the note game. All right. And I say asset class availability. Okay. What's available out there? Now, like, you're not going to be buying like apartment complexes in the distressed stage. You just don't see a lot of that. Okay. If that's what you're excited about, hey, this is not for you. But, I want to buy $1 million houses. You're not going to have a lot of luck with that. All right. What you want to focus on for the most part was what you're going to see is that $150,000 value house or less. Okay. And that's on average. Some cases will be bigger, less. But a lot of that's where 95% of the inventory is in that, first time home buyer house. Okay. If you don't want to work in that range, go do something else. Okay. You've got to make sure too, when you're buying in markets that you don't have to have some weird license. Like Georgia requires you to have a mortgage broker's license. All right. Illinois wants you to have a debt collector's license. All right. What are the foreclosure timeframes? Well, you're going to buy in Florida, it's probably 9 months to a year, or South Carolina, it's a year. New York, New Jersey, we can take 3 years. No. All right. So you got to keep that in mind when you're looking at the states you want to start off with. And I'm a big believer in start off for 2 or 3 that's got inventory. Okay. If you live in California or the West Coast and you want to buy that, you're going to be sitting here scratching your head a year later because you're not going to see that much. Anything if you did see would be way overpriced. Okay. You also want to look at growth rate. Are these markets growing? Are they affordable? Not overpriced like San Francisco is getting overpriced. Austin is getting pretty close to there too. I mean, is the markets growing? Are they rebounding? Are we seeing 10% appreciation every year, which is great? Are you seeing negative? Is it shrinking? Okay. No, David, I did not say Nebraska you need a mortgage broker's license. No, that was Georgia. Okay. We'll go through every state. Just chill, everybody. I'm not going to give you all the important nuggets in the first 5 minutes because you're fine. Okay. You want to look at job growth. Are people working there? Is the economy rebounding strong? There's a lot of money being dumped into the markets? Okay, the cities. Okay, are there buyers? What's the days on markets? Are there people that rent your property? Is there education? Colleges there. What's going on with the population growth? Is it increasing or decreasing? These are things to consider when you're looking at a market. It's not just one thing of, I'm going to buy in Ohio. Well, you probably don't want to just buy in Ohio unless you're buying in areas that make sense. Okay. Well, I love Missouri. I'm going to buy anything in Missouri. Well, you probably don't want to buy everything in Missouri. You want to focus on things or cities or markets that make sense. Okay. So, and importantly, too, you want to look at crime rates. Okay. It's important to know if when you look at Trulia on an asset, does it light up like a Christmas tree? Does it look like somebody got shot on your screen? It's all red, or is it different now? Is it or is it a blue color now that they use it? Trulia use? I think they changed color from going from red to blue. Okay, what's that doing? Are you buying an area that makes sense? Are there parts like even if you're interested in Detroit? Do you want to buy below 8 Mile Road? Do you want to buy west of or east of downtown or west of Grosse Pointe Blank? Probably not. Okay. So you have to look at those markets and realize that, yes, there's a lot of times it goes in street by street. Okay. Or zip code by zip code or north, south. You got to know those markets and help to figure that out. Okay. Other factors. All right. I call this the ESPN factor a lot of times. Okay. Obviously near major markets, like is there a major sports team that plays there? Okay. Is there major universities? Is probably a better list of opportunities out there. Okay, because a lot of people are looking for stuff in the prime markets, and like prime markets like Dallas or Houston or Atlanta, a major market, or Indianapolis. Those are all great markets, but there's a lot of great opportunities in B markets, or where there's a major university, but it's not in the biggest of cities. Okay, I like looking at sports teams. You want to make sure that they've got good attorneys there as well in those states, somebody you can deal with, because you're going to have an attorney at some point. No, you can't do it all yourself. You got to make sure there's plenty of good realtors. All right. You make sure of ease of access. One thing I like to look at is, can I jump on a Southwest flight and be there in 5 hours at the latest? Okay. Like if I were to fly here to Ohio or here to Cincinnati or here to Detroit, it's about a 5-hour trip. I got to switch planes once, which is okay. Okay. Don't mind doing that. If I'm going to fly to Florida, can I do direct? All right. Look at those things, ease of access. All right. I don't want to fly in somewhere and then have to drive 12 hours to get to the spot I want to go to. That's not a fun thing. It's not ease of access. It makes it difficult for me to get to it if I need to get to it. Now, I'm a big proponent today. You're going to use a lot of vendors to make things happen outside of, you don't need to jump on a plane every time. Okay. Is there plenty of people to live in? Do people literally want to live where you're at? Okay. That's the thing. You could buy a note in LaGrange, Texas, but if the days on market are 360 days and nobody's moving there, just because it's in Texas is not an ideal situation, right? And then you also think about what you're buying, what happens in a downturn. Because a lot of people, I think, are starting to overpay for stuff because they're thinking, oh, it's going to go up. What happens in a downturn? Okay. What's going to happen in a downturn? Can you convert it? The borrower foreclosed. Can you convert it to a rental that makes sense? Do you have plenty of people still in that area, whether it's students or other things like that? If you got to turn in a rental, okay. Can you dump the property and move on because you're still sitting at a good price point? Okay. There are a lot of other factors to keep in mind. Does that make sense? So before I dive into kind of the areas that we like to talk about, do you have any questions about what I just discussed with you guys? Okay. Yep. All right. So no questions asked. All right. Anybody asking questions online? That looks like we're good. Okay. All right. So big thing I like to look at when people ask me, say, okay, where should I buy, Scott? Where should I be looking to invest? And the athlete, me, the big ESPN sports fan, SC doesn't stand for Sports Center. It stands for Scott Carson. So tonight on Sports Center, on Scott Center, the markets I think you should focus on basically comes down where there's inventory at. And Mark Capsey, you asked a really good question. What is a good way to gauge level of asset class inventory? If when you start reaching out to asset managers, you start seeing stuff coming to you. That's what it all comes out to. If what you're looking for, you start seeing showing up on tapes, that's where you know plenty of stuff is at. Now, there are some stuff that we see plenty of that I will avoid it like the plague, but there's a lot of opportunities in a lot of areas that have that. Now, I'll give you an example. Years ago, when everything was hitting the fan, 2009, 2010, I saw opportunity in Florida, and I went to Florida. Everybody thought I was crazy, but I bought a lot of stuff in Florida. It was basically at 35% of what was owed. The values dropped dramatically, like 60, 65%. And I bought a lot of stuff there, rock bottom stuff that I made a lot of money on, okay? Because I knew it would come back. I knew that if it takes me 2 years to foreclose, that's okay. Opportunities are going to come back on that stuff. I was buying that stuff cheaper than I was buying it cheaper than you could build it. Okay. That's one thing you look at. What's it cost to build a house? Well, 50, 60 bucks a square foot or more. Look at what it costs. You're buying it cheaper than what you can build it at. And it's in decent condition and you've got a great rental that's going to be above, more than 1.5% for the most part. Think about it. Okay. Yes, Beth Hale, you got it exactly right. Warren Buffett says, be greedy when the rest of the market is fearful. Florida in 2009. Exactly. I was extremely greedy. Okay. As I like to say, this was sponsored by Crown Royal Ribeyes and Florida Sunsets. Okay. Love God's waiting room. Still to this day, love it. Just haven't bought much stuff there because the market's recovered. People have gotten on that gravy train. So if you're a new investor these days, where should you be looking to invest? And this is coming from a note side, a note and a contract for deed side for the most part. Okay. And the markets I'm going to go through here are not the live all be all. Okay. If you got family in your neighborhood or family in a specific city I don't mention, don't get bent out of shape. That's an asset that you have that's not listed on here. Having family members that understand the business, having a realtor, or sister, or brother, or aunt, uncle, whatever, mom, dad, pops, whatever, son, daughter, that's a different strength. That's a different asset that you have available to you that not everybody has. So don't get bent out of shape if I don't mention your city or the state that you love. Okay. So right now, looking at where the market is and the stuff that we see on a regular basis, I'm a big believer in what I call two conferences, 2.5. Okay. And what I mean by conferences, I'm talking like the big major 5 conferences in the United States. And what I mean by that, the first one I'll give you like the Big Ten Conference. Okay. Big Ten Conference. Big Ten Conference made up of Ohio, has schools in Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Iowa. There's basically 11 states in the Big Ten. Okay. And here's your map, all in the light there, as you can see. Now, I'm not going to buy everything in every one of those states, but that's a great place to start. And let me give you some market guidelines, okay? I still don't buy in every state, okay? But there's a few of these states that I think are extremely popular. There's some great opportunities involved. So let's go through some of these, okay? So the Big Ten, and I'm talking these are the major cities. Most of the cities that we'll be mentioning are going to be over 100,000 in population. Some of the ones in smaller southern states, maybe 50,000, which is okay, still good size. I don't usually like to I'll go below that if I know what's going on, if I'm buying in bulk and stuff like that. But if you're a brand new investor, you probably need to stick to the larger cities of 50,000 or 100,000 or greater. Just because economy of scale, there's plenty of people there to help you out with if you're not used to doing it, or if you're doing this part-time, stick to the major cities, okay? And so let's just start with the granddaddy of them all. I'm just joking. That's the Rose Bowl. Let's talk where we see really the most amount of inventory, Michigan. You still see a lot there, okay? You got Detroit, Lansing, which is the state capital, Grand Rapids, Sterling, Flint, Warren, Sterling Heights. Those are really the 10 biggest city. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 8 biggest cities in the area. All right, and plenty of inventory in those areas. Okay, big enough cities, plenty of realtors, plenty of repair people if you need to. Your servicers are licensed in Michigan for the most part. Lots of opportunity out there for you. And Michigan is still not the longest foreclosure process out there. Yes, does it get cold? Yes, but there's still a lot of opportunity there because the fact is that Michigan itself is rebounding pretty strong, 5 to 10% across the state. A lot of these cities have major universities inside of them. Okay, Michigan State and others. All right. I would throw Ann Arbor in there too. I knew I was leaving one off. Ann Arbor as well, where the University of Michigan is at. Throw that one in there as well. Okay. Let's talk about Indiana. Indianapolis obviously is a major market, but outside of that, Fort Wayne has recovered very strongly. Evansville is doing very well. I was actually surprised Evansville was as big as it was. When I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's third largest city in Indiana. I did not know that. Okay. Bloomington, where the University of Indiana is. Of course, South Bend, you have Touchdown Jesus, Notre Dame, those fighting Irish. And then Lafayette and West Lafayette area where Purdue is located. All right. Yes, you will see that a lot of these are the major cities where there's a major big universities at. It just helps you that I don't like rentals. I don't like student housing for the most part. But you've got people coming in, people that, hey, you want to buy instead of rent? Great. Ohio, Columbus, Cincinnati, Toledo, Akron, and Dayton. I would not invest in Cleveland. I think Cleveland has just got too many problems with it right now, with especially the city wanting to charge you a nice $10,000. What do they call that? Not a grant. It's just stay away from Cleveland. All right. I know I'm drawing a blank right now. Coffee's kicking in. Bond. Thank you, Mr. Eric Hyde. Yes, $10,000 bond and make you have to upgrade the properties quite a bit. So just stay away from Cleveland. Columbus is the largest city there. Cincinnati is also doing really well. Toledo, Akron, Dayton, you'll find plenty of inventory there. Obviously, you just got to make sure of price that makes sense for you. Okay. Lisa asked, what about Gary, Indiana? I wouldn't buy in Gary, Indiana. Gary is one of the larger cities. I agree with that, Lisa. But unless you're going to spend some time there and there are pockets of Gary that can be very nice. But for the most part, you're going to know that city on a zip code, street by street. I just don't like Gary. I've been shot at twice there. Okay. There's enough inventory in the rest of the area that you don't want to deal with gangs and violence and that much stuff. Okay. Makes sense? You're welcome, Lisa. All right. Moving on. You got Pennsylvania. Okay. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Allentown, Erie, Reading. I'd throw Happy Valley in there as well, too. not the biggest of cities, but when you have the university or you got Penn State there, I'd throw it in there. Just because the fact is that you've got a major university there for you. All right. But those are the biggest. So obviously, Philadelphia is the biggest one, Pittsburgh second, and then those are the top 5 that roll it out. Okay. Maryland, which is also, it's hard to believe Maryland's in the Big Ten, but it is. Beth says, asked a question, Pennsylvania came with foreclosure laws and such. Look, it's still less than a year for the most part. Yeah, there's still plenty. When you look at Philadelphia, all those crazy Eagle fans, sure, why not? All right. Let's go through here. In Illinois. Now, Illinois has been known to have a longer foreclosure time frame. I'm not including Chicago in here, okay? But other cities outside of Cook County, Aurora, Rockford, Joliet, Naperville, Springfield, Peoria, Elgin, not bad markets. Still got to expect about a 9-month foreclosure time frame in those areas. They're not as corrupt. Well, they're really not corrupt at all for the most part compared when you look at what is going on in Chicago or Cook County, okay? So I know plenty of people have made some great money there. I've been to all those areas. They're all pretty decent-sized areas and pretty nice, okay? Big Ten don'ts. These are the states. These are things to keep in mind that I would not do, okay? I don't see much in Iowa. So if you ask about Iowa, just don't see much, okay? Don't see much at all, and I'd probably stick to the 1-2 biggest cities in Iowa, okay? Ames and wherever Iowa's at, or Iowa State, okay? Minnesota, I don't see much stuff there, even though it's my homeland where I was born. You have the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Great. It's got a 1-year redemption period. But I just don't see that much stuff in Minnesota, okay? Just don't see that much stuff. It's damn cold up that neck of the woods, all right? Land of 10,000 lakes. Actually, it's more shoreline than California, if you didn't know that. With all the lakes they have, Minnesota has more shoreline with all the lakes they have, okay? Don't see much of Cornhuskers pay their bills. I don't see much in Nebraska. Not that Nebraska is a bad area. If you see something there, I'd stick to, where the University of Nebraska is in Lincoln for the most part. I got a couple other assets in Nebraska doing well, doing fine. But for the most part, I just don't see that much stuff in there as well. Okay. Wisconsin, I'm not a fan of because the property taxes are through the roof. Okay. Just through the roof with the Wisconsin property taxes. So I just remove it from my list. Okay. The thing you got to keep in mind, everybody, you don't have to invest in everything. Pick out 2 or 3 states that you like, that you're comfortable with, and go with those 2 or 3. Okay. It's an important thing to keep them. Like I said before, avoid Chicago and Cook County. I'm just at the point where I've just eliminated them completely from our lists. Okay. New Jersey, I don't buy anything in New Jersey. Yes, New Jersey is part of the Big Ten now with Rutgers being there. No, I just don't buy anything. It just takes forever to foreclose. All right. Questions about that before we move on to the next conference that I would recommend states-wise? Any questions, comments, concerns? Is this helpful? If you're watching here, awesome. See, you're watching this on Facebook Live. Love for you to share. Let me know that you're watching it. You're enjoying it. See Juliana Ferraras out there. Good. All right. Good stuff, Bill. Okay. Now, one thing to keep in mind: if you live in a state that has a ton of inventory, okay, ton of inventory that makes sense, you should be bidding on a lot of stuff. Okay. You might not, and I'm not. Look, I'll give you an example. Austin, Texas. We've got Cedar Park, Round Rock, Pflugerville. Okay. Kyle, Buda, south of here. Okay. Those are areas I would buy. And if I saw stuff here, they're just not big enough areas like Austin, but still part of the kind of metroplex area. So when you go back to these areas, if there's something right in the outskirts of town, don't ask the question, well, what about this person? It's like, well, is it within 20, 30 minutes? Okay, great. Yeah, sure. All right. That's the thing to keep in mind. Don't get so bent out of shape on little things. What about the Western states? Carmen, I'm glad you asked that. You're not going to find anything really for the most part in the Western states that makes any sense financially right now. Don't waste your time in California unless you want to buy 95 cents. The same thing with Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Oregon, Washington State. All those are priced expensively for the most part. Not saying you can't find anything there, okay? Yeah, in Colorado, you might see something that makes sense in Pueblo, but Pueblo is a really depressed area, okay? No, sorry. Look, this is why you got to be smart. Come on. California is a land of fruits and nuts, and all the droughts have dried up the fruit, so you have nothing but nuts there, okay? You got people that are paying way too expensive for stuff. When you see non-performing portfolios go at 95, 96 cents a dollar in California, that's stupid. Okay? Anytime you start seeing on the MLS for stuff selling retail that they say, oh, a price will not dictate sales price, that's stupid. Nothing to pay. There doesn't make any sense to pay there. Plus, what would you rather do? Take $1 million and buy one property in California, or buy 40 properties in somewhere else? Think about it. Be smart. Yes. Yeah. Lisa, thank you, says, she goes, I live in California, and it just goes up every single day. We are in Nuttyville. Yeah, it's crazy out there. You know, if you're riding it up, congratulations. Get some equity, but it just doesn't make sense to be minor. I'll get to some of the other markets. Just hang on. I'm not finished yet. All right. Okay. Hang on. Okay. Give me a second here. I'm not finished. We just through the Big Ten right now. So just chill. There's a few other conferences to talk about. Okay. Well, we're not depressed in Pueblo. Yeah, you are. All right, let's move on. So the next conference I would look at is the Southeast Conference, Southeastern Conference, the SEC. It's made up of Missouri, Texas, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Okay. You're going to see a lot of stuff in this neck of the woods like you did in the Big Ten part. Now, let's talk about these big state cities, as we like to call them, SEC state cities. Okay. Sorry, you're in the Fresno area. You're not going to see anything in there. Okay. All right. So, big one, Florida. And I did not know this till I just did this tonight. Jacksonville is actually the largest city in Florida. I was surprised. Jacksonville was also the slowest city to recover in Florida. Okay. Everything started down at the tip of Miami and grew from there. But you got your 10 biggest cities there: Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa, Orlando, St. Petersburg, Hialeah, Tallahassee, Port St. Lucie, Cape Coral, and Fort Lauderdale. Now, it's gotten expensive there. You're going to probably be paying closer in the mid-60s, 70s, just because of the appreciation and everybody's. I think Florida's a little overpriced. But it's one of my favorites. I like it there. I believe it's going to take a big hit as well when the market changes, because literally 30, 40 cents of every dollar spent on real estate is still from international buyers coming in. Okay. Let's talk about the big state that everybody loves, not Texas. We're talking Georgia. Okay. Yes, Georgia's a faster foreclosure state. It does have the license requirements, or needing to have a mortgage broker's license to buy there. Not that difficult to get. Just takes a little bit of time to do it, but you got your big cities: Atlanta, Columbus. Did not know that. That's where stuff is from. Augusta, Macon, Savannah, Athens. I would also throw in Auburn in there, although it's a little bit further down. Below 100,000. The rest of these are all, I think, above 100,000 in size. Okay. Guys, if I've already gone through something, just don't ask me on specific counties. Look at the cities that are in there. You can do your own work. If it's DuPage County, is not that bad. Okay. All right, moving on. South Carolina, I think, is a very nice area. It's going through some great growth. Columbia, Charleston, North Charleston, Mount Pleasant, Rock Hill, some areas that are doing really well, rebounding. The cities are the sixth largest ones in South Carolina. Now, it does have about a 12-month foreclosure time frame, but still a lot of good opportunities there where the appreciation taking place is growing over that time frame. Okay. Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Clarksville, Murfreesboro for Tennessee. No, I do not include Memphis in there. Why do I not include Memphis? Memphis is an 85% rental market, and it's really being hit hard. I know a lot of investors have stopped doing it because you have people that just don't really care. Okay. Nobody pays on time. They just bounce from one rental to another one. So it's a very difficult, a lot of blight going on, a lot of growing blight in Memphis. So I do not include. Now, Nashville, Knoxville, you're not going to see a lot of stuff there. I mean, Nashville's just about as expensive as it gotten here in Austin. But, those are the cities in Tennessee, with it being a faster foreclosure state. Yeah, Memphis is its own country, Lisa. Exactly. So I would agree with you there too. All right, moving on. Alabama. Now, Alabama, while it has a little bit of a long, it does have a redemption period, about a year. There's still some pretty good cities in it. You see a lot of inventory down there. Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile, Huntsville. I threw in Gulf Shores, which is a nice part of the state. If you can find something in there that you can foreclose on and pay off the redemption rights, hey, great. Good stuff. But otherwise, it's still going to take you a little while to foreclose. But you've had a little bit slower appreciating there, but you're also around some really bigger universities there, okay, especially in Birmingham. I left one university out there, or city out. Oh, what am I thinking here? I'll think of it in a minute. But those are kind of the bigger ones there. Gulf Shores is not one of the bigger ones, but it's a nicer part of the state down the next one. But by Foley, Alabama, not a bigger area, but still got some nice growth to it and done well. Tuscaloosa, thank you. Yes, I didn't. I meant to put Tuscaloosa in there, Gail. Appreciate it. That's where the University of Alabama is at. I knew that's exactly. Thank you so much. Tuscaloosa, yes. Totally agree. Tuscaloosa should be in there. I totally left it off. Thank you, Alice, in your hometown. Opelika? No, not necessarily, unless Opelika is pretty good size. I've never been through Opelika. Don't see that much from Opelika anyway. Okay? Yeah, like I said before, we should throw Auburn in there as well. Okay? I talked about Auburn. It's right on the border of Georgia and Atlanta. Anyway, exactly. All right. Zip asked a question, is there a workaround to buy in Georgia until you're licensed? Yeah, you work with somebody who's got a mortgage broker license in Georgia. Okay. Talking about Missouri now. Okay. Kansas City is pretty decent. Kansas City, Missouri is different than Kansas City, Kansas. St. Louis, you got to be very careful about St. Louis because you got a lot of crime, some blight taking place there. But just be careful. Springfield, Independence, Columbia, where the University of Missouri is at. Independence is near Kansas City, has been great. Springfield's been great. I haven't had nothing wrong with those guys. Big thing about St. Louis, got to be careful if you're buying down by the big dump that's down there, landfill. They've got an underground radioactive fire that's going on, taking place. It's careful, but there's good areas of St. Louis as well. Kansas City's good. Now, Kansas, I don't have Kansas in here. Totally, I'm going to be honest, I totally spaced on Kansas earlier. Just because the fact is Kansas is not in the big SEC. It's in the Big 12. Yeah, about a year to foreclose, so Kansas would not be back in the bigger cities in Kansas, okay? Forgot about it, okay? In Mississippi, Jackson is the biggest market down there, okay? Everything else falls off dramatically below 100,000 people. You've got Gulfport, South Haven, Hattiesburg, Biloxi. Big thing with Mississippi is you want to be as close to in downtown as probably in those cities. You don't want to be on the outskirts just because there's a lot of blight, a lot of poverty. It's a poor state. So the closer you can be to the main area when you're seeing stuff, the better. It's not saying it's trash everywhere. Just make sure. I mean, Hattiesburg, you got, which is not in the SEC, where you have Southern Miss University. Not a bad area. Been through there a couple times. Biloxi, same. Gulfport, right in the water. Not bad. Jackson, Mississippi, obviously our good buddy, Walter Wolford, who's the king of Jackson. We'll talk about that area as well. Kentucky. You've got Louisville, where the University of Louisville is. Independence, where University of Kentucky's at. Bowling Green, where you have the University of Bowling Green, and then Owensboro. Those are really the four bigger cities there is where I'd stick to. I wouldn't really go outside of those areas for the most part, just because you've got a couple years ago, you had a lot of REOs that were like low value stuff, $3, $4, $5 that were really affecting values on traditional sales. So keep that in mind. Lexington, I apologize, Denise. You're exactly right. I totally left out the Independence. I don't know why I said that. I left Lexington off. My apology. You're completely right. Like I said, I went through a lot of states, going through a lot of different things. I totally messed up. Thank you so much, Denise. You're correct. Lexington, not Independence, is important. You're 100% right. Thank you for correcting me. Yes, I would throw in. I mean, Independence is south suburb of Cincinnati, exactly. So it's closer, kind of the Ohio. But yeah, Independence, I'm sorry, Lexington is where the University of Kentucky is. I would buy in Lexington. Okay, Zip, let's just get off the whole mortgage broker stuff. Let's talk about it at a different time, okay? You find somebody you partner up with. You give them 10% of your profits, and they run everything through their LLC, okay? That's what you do. I'm not getting into that right now. It's not part of what we're talking about, okay? I'll get to North Carolina in a minute, okay? Bruce, is it worth getting a debt collector's license in Illinois? How expensive and how difficult is it to obtain? It's about $700 a year. If you're going to be buying in Illinois, yeah, go ahead and get it. Okay, you're going to need it. Okay. All right, moving on here, everybody. Just chill out. Okay. SEC don'ts, and this isn't a negative by any means. Just that some of the don'ts you probably want to do. Now, Memphis, we talked about this. That's in Tennessee. Okay. 85% rental community. Lots of blight. We already talked about that. Just I wouldn't waste time in Memphis. Just when you get a spreadsheet in, just delete those off. Okay. Texas, which is unfortunately A&M. I just don't see anything. It's too expensive here and don't see much. Actually, most of Texas is part of the Big 12 country, I agree, but it fell into this. Make it simple for me tonight. Don't too expensive, don't see much. What I do see is usually stuff that's got a lot of problems with it. Okay. That's what I usually see when we do see something in Texas. Either it's rural, remote, maybe down by the valley. Now, it doesn't mean you can't come across a bank in Texas that's got stuff to move, like our good buddies Adam Adams and Joel Bayarina and Jimmy Kubiak have. And if you're going to be reaching out to banks, great. There's nothing wrong with that. You can find stuff, okay? If you're dealing with the masses, I would not make Texas one of your top 3 or top 5 states. It's not one of mine, okay? Not one of mine. As far as the University of Arkansas, I don't see much stuff in Arkansas at all. Doesn't mean you won't see something. I've actually, Hot Springs, was it Bentonville where Walmart's corporate headquarters is at? You might see some stuff there occasionally, but I just don't see that much. It's not in my top 3, top 5. Okay. Like I said before, stay away from rural areas. If it's in a state that you like, great. If you've got family, great. But just if it's still rural, like we're talking really rural areas, 500,000, less than 5,000 people, be careful. I did not mention Louisiana. I know you LSU Go Tiger fans out there. Louisiana got a 6-month time frame, which is not bad. You got to be careful of all the flooding that takes place there. So I'm not saying you won't find some stuff in Baton Rouge or New Orleans from time to time. You will. It's just a different type of judicial foreclosure process there. So never really been a big fan of Louisiana. Okay. I've talked about Alabama having a 1-year redemption period, which is different than if you're buying a contract for deed there. You can evict relatively quickly. It's just that if you're buying a note there, you may want to try to figure that if you get a foreclose. Pay off the redemption rights or offer up cash for that aspect so you can take the property back and then really do something if you've got to foreclose. Okay. Another one of the big conferences where we've covered most of it already, though, is the Atlantic Coast Conference. And this is made up North Carolina, Virginia, Massachusetts, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Maryland, which you've already covered several of those states. Biggest ones you're going to see mostly is in like North Carolina, Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, Durham, Winston-Salem, Fayetteville, Cary, Wilmington, High Point. Most of those areas are over 100,000 people. ACC is going to be a little bit more expensive, though, because it is a faster foreclosure state, so keep that in mind. Virginia, non-judicial foreclosure relatively quickly. Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Arlington, Richmond, Newport News, Alexandria, and Hampton are the biggest cities in that neck of the woods. I don't see much stuff in Virginia. I'll see stuff occasionally in Norfolk, occasionally in Arlington or Alexandria, but not too much stuff. So that's why we kind of leave it for that. You'll see more stuff in Charlotte or North Carolina than you will in Virginia for the most part. Now, I didn't throw West Virginia in there. I just don't invest in that area. It's too rural for the most part. The rest of the states, I don't see much stuff in Massachusetts, which is part of the ACC with Boston College. I just don't see anything up in the neck of the woods, and it's overpriced for the most part. A couple of things before we dive into that. Any questions about those markets out there as well? Now, if I didn't mention this state, don't get bent out of shape. What about this? What about that? I just don't see much. Okay, these are the states we talked about beforehand where you're seeing most of the inventory. Okay, and I apologize. Lexington is one of the bigs. I should have kept it in there, but when you're going through as many cities as I was going through the last 48 hours, I think you guys can cut me some slack. But anyway, I'm trying to get at any of the questions about any of the states, things like that. Like I didn't mention New York, New Jersey, New England area. Just don't see that much stuff. Okay. We covered most of the others, most of the states in the Big 12. No, I don't deal with the Pac-12 because that's all overpriced for the most part. Okay. Now, one of the things that's also important when you're looking at a market, all right, is are there vendors? Are there things available? There's places to meet people. And most people struggle with this, okay? They struggle with the networking. They struggle with the, I got to reaching out to people. I got to get some help. So obviously, your first and most important thing is you want to make sure that your servicing company is licensed to do business in that state. Now, not every servicing company is going to be licensed in all 50 states. They don't need to be. They're going to be licensed in the states where they're getting most of their business, okay? And that's fine. But just make sure that if you're investing in a state that servicing company you're going to use is licensed to do business in that state, okay? You want to find attorneys. A good website to go to find attorneys in that state is legalleague100.com. If you don't see a lot of attorneys in that market, or in that state, may not be worth your time to invest. Okay. The bigger the city, you start, getting above 50,000, there should be plenty of attorneys there. Okay. Realtors, the lifeblood of real estate for the most part. Realtors, you got to have realtors book comps for you. And we're not talking Zillow. As much as I love notepros.com, you still need local realtors to help you out with valuation. Okay. All right. Pulling comps, telling you what the properties are worth, that kind of stuff. It's important to keep that in mind. All right. And also, realtors will have access to repair teams that can help out with property evasion, changing locks. Those are important to have as well. If you don't have somebody there, don't know how to reach out to on realtor.com or Active Rain or any of those, you can go to your local REI clubs. Your real estate investment club is what REI stands for, real estate investment clubs. And we find those on Meetup. You can also look on the national REIA groups by doing a search for that. Some of their bigger groups in the cities across the country. All right. What's so important about this? Well, then you'll find a variety of people there. Realtors, attorneys, preservation companies, okay? Investors, who might want to buy that deal you've got, all right? Might want a JV. They might want to fund or buy it from you, okay? So when you're investing, one of the big things that we did, or I should say I did, is I spent a lot of time and I connected a lot of meetups. You've been in my fast track training, you know that we go through a lot with our meetups. You actually pull a list of the larger meetup groups in the country, so I have access to them, a member of those. So if I've got something that pops up, I can jump on, post something there, or reach out to their membership list or the president and get a referral for somebody in that area. Okay. J. Antonio Ceballos, Mr. Ceballos from New Jersey, or from Fresno. Sorry, not New Jersey. I don't know why I said New Jersey. Fresno. So that was awesome. Thank you very much. Okay. But that's the important thing. So if you like a market, you like a city, great. See if there's a meetup group. All you got to do is go into your meetup.com and look for real estate as a topic and then a city. And I wouldn't really look at greater than 25 miles away from the major city. Okay. Now, if you're in an area that's got multiple cities nearby, they're kind of bigger areas. Okay, you're gonna have a little bit of crossover. All right, but it's important trying to find a meetup group that's active. It's got some members. We're not talking 10 people, but something 50, 100 members at least, 150 members, something like that. The bigger the better. Great. But that's not saying a 100 member group is not going to be more active than a 4,000 member list. Okay, it all just depends. And if you can make it, great. Now, sometimes this is all doing stuff online. Yes, obviously talking about learning things abroad, but sometimes it's just worth kind of getting on a plane, getting your ass there. You have to go see it for yourself. Sometimes you just got to jump on a plane and go see it, and you do your own little note roadshow. Okay? And so I'm not trying to sell you anything. This is not me, a sales pitch or anything at all. Literally jumping on a plane Thursday afternoon, actually, flying to an undisclosed location. I'm going to look at about 20, 25 of my assets, and then I'm also going to look at about 40, 45 other assets that several of our sources sent to me. And I'm not going to tell you the market till we get closer, probably till I'm actually there. and look at things first thing Friday morning. But I will tell you this, I'm excited about it. I've thought about this last couple of days. I got a couple tapes in. I'm like, let's narrow this down. And I'm like, oh, got bids in, waiting for counters to come back, stuff like that. I think I'm going to get a big chunk of them approved. And then I'm jumping on a plane to fly up to where I'm flying to go take a look at some stuff. And one of the things I'm going to do is the power of marketing, power of video. I'm actually going to do some Facebook Lives, quick photo updates from in front of each asset. And we're actually going to be doing some cool things, deal sheets, stuff like that. I got Shannon working on some videos of the assets, pulling some great street view photos. I'm really excited based on the look of some of these. Some of these have been paying for a little bit. Some of these are not paying. But I'm going to drive by roughly 40 to 50 assets Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fly back home Sunday night. Steph's going with me, so I'm excited about that. We're doing our own road show, and we'll share what's going on. No, we're not selling tickets to it. No, you can't ride along with us. We got to be able to turn and burn and get rock and rolling from there. So I'll share as we get closer, but I will tell you this, we're pretty excited about this. Lisa says, I've got a meetup group here in Silicon Valley with near 400 folks, and you are welcome to join it. Thank you. Awesome. Appreciate it. It's easy because you got probably plenty of people in the Silicon Valley looking for deals elsewhere, right, Lisa? It's a lot of money made that way. A lot of people looking that, have 50 grand to invest with, can't buy anything in their backyard, but they would rather, they could buy 2 houses or 2 notes in Columbus. Okay. But anyway, excited about this. And no, I've not talked to anybody about this market. I will tell you this. We're going to do one of these in Ohio the week before the Ohio Note Expo or Note event that Evangelist Cox is doing for the Ohio area. I'm going to fly out there and do it that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, depending on what assets we've still got some stuff to look at. But this weekend, I just decided, I made the decision Sunday afternoon after looking at some stuff. I literally texted Steph last night, hey, book us tickets to this. We're going to go. She's like, okay, crazy man. So excited about that. Questions, comments, concerns? For those that are watching, we did something a little bit different tonight. I know you guys get emails from me talking about, hey, we got an hour reminder. But how many of you guys joined us tonight because you got a text message to your phone 30 minutes before? Would really love to know if any of you guys, great reminder, or you saw that and you jumped on because it was a great reminder for you. Okay. Awesome. Great. Okay. Well, that's fine. Thanks, Carolyn. We'll probably be doing more so of that. And one of the things we'll be doing is also updating and sending out lists of different deals we have available. Thanks, Elise. Okay, good. We've been toying around, and we'll be doing more of that as we go. Text is great. Good. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Rach. Thanks, Joe. All right, guys. Questions, comments, concerns for yourselves? So I made 40 offers last night. Got first round of counters back today. They didn't accept any of them. They wanted higher bids. So just letting you know, I made counters back. I bumped my bids up about 5% across the board. Waiting to see what they come back. Hopefully I'll have an answer by tomorrow. And we'll dive into that and start looking at, we're pulling pictures. I'm going to pull online values and some other stuff here in the next couple of days. But just so you know, hey, I'm literally going to share with you guys step by step. When we go up, hey, here's a picture of the house. Here's what we look for. Here's what we're looking at. This looks good. Oh, bar on the outside. They've not paid in a year here. Okay, let's see what's going on with this. That kind of stuff. So, going to knock it out. Beth, you like that? Awesome. Glad you enjoyed it. One of the things that I will do with this PowerPoint as well, I will upload it to SlideShare. For those that are watching, you can just find me on slideshare.net. We'll upload the PowerPoint presentation on there. So if you want to go back and look at the cities, you're more welcome to. If you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, or We Close Notes on the podcast blog, you'll be able to go there as well and click on the link and be able to download the SlideShare PowerPoint. Do I share where you find your notes listed for sale? No, Mark, I'm not going to share that. Look, there's plenty of sources out there if you go to an event, things like that, but I'm not going to give you my personal sources just because I'm a nice guy. Okay? No, not going to do that. Sorry. If you come to a fast track or come to our coaching, yes, I do that for our mastermind students, but I don't just do it for just people I just met. Okay. Will this episode be available tonight? Won't be available on the podcast tonight, but we'll work to get it up on weclosenotes.tv for you to be able to watch the replay in a half hour or so. Okay. All right. Thanks, John. One of the things, guys, if you did not get a text message from 72,000 Reminder, one way you can do that, and you can help me out, actually, is if you text the word NIGHT, N-I-G-H-T, to 72,000. That would be reason if you did not get a text message from me, you've never registered for that. So, John, if you're interested in that, just text the word NIGHT, N-I-G-H-T, to 72,000, and then you'll be in the system for text message updates and stuff like that, especially as we start driving some assets and deals and that stuff, because we got some cool things we're working on for that. And so we're pretty stoked. Any questions, comments, concerns for anybody out there? What time is it? How are we doing on time? Oh, right at just under an hour. Man, I thought this would take about an hour and a half. A treasure trove? I've been doing this for a long time, and I appreciate that, Lisa. I have done this a long time with what we do, and there's always a variety of different things. And obviously the market changes. Market changes on a constant basis in the note business. So you've got to be careful of where you're buying it. Markets I used to buy in, I don't buy anymore. Markets I've bought in, I want to shoot myself in the head sometimes. Look, I make mistakes all the time. I'm not going to be the first person to sit here and tell you that I'm perfect. I'm far from it. But I like to share things that can help you overcome things. And so, like I said, it's the ESPN thing. If you're looking for a market, go to ESPN.com, look at the big 5 conferences, look at the cities where those colleges are at, and you're probably going to do fine being in one of those areas. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I was looking at like Virginia Tech. It's in Blacksburg, Virginia. It has like 42,000, a population of 42,000. They figure around another 20,000 students, 25,000 students. All right. So it's probably small. It's a small town feel for me, less than 50, but you still probably do okay. So the question, what is the text number and text message? Yes. So it's NIGHT to 72,000. You text the word NIGHT to send the phone number 72000. Just send a text message to that and click on the links that pop in. You'll be registered in our system. Okay. Thanks, bud. Doing so now. Awesome, John. Great. Carmen King says, "Are you going to talk about the mastermind?" I could talk a little bit about it. So, what if you like it? Sure. I didn't plan to talk about it, but if you wanted some questions about it, so. Big thing about our mastermind, hey, we get together usually 3 to 4 times a year. It's actually at least 3 times a year for usually 3 to 4 days. Some come in earlier, some stay a day afterward. In our mastermind, it's just, it's made up of really great people that get together on a regular basis to work on our businesses. Business development, I bring in speakers, new sources, new marketing things, how to raise capital, research that I do that I share with a group. It's a really great, tight-knit audience of amazing individuals who are really got a big heart for giving. If you think about some of the people who have gone through our mastermind, we've got people that are really closing a lot of deals. Some of the who's who in the note industry out there. But before anybody goes to the mastermind, they come in and spend 3 days with me here during a fast track training here in Austin, and that's in depth. That's one-on-one. We keep those groups small, usually about 6 people or less. That's a $15,000 check to come to a fast track and to a mastermind. It's 4 events in a year, 3 mastermind events and a fast track. So it's 4 events, which is not that expensive when you combine that all together. But with the resources I give you, the lists I give you, the asset managers, I show you exactly who to call, tell them I sent you, the bonuses you get, the discounts, the help, the coaching that we give on a constant basis. I think it's unparalleled in the industry for a mastermind and well underpriced based on what I see other people charging for a whole lot less. Okay. So Bob Bolger asked a question here. Good question. You said a debt collector's license was required in Illinois. Wouldn't the servicer have that too? Would that also apply to an IRA? No, if you're funding totally out your IRA, no, not needed, Bob. No, you individually still have to have a debt collector's license. It's different than the servicer. Okay. It's different. Other states, it solves it, but in Illinois, they got to have a way to make some more money off you. Okay. Thanks, Mark and Marlene. Glad to hear that it helped. It's important. Okay. you'll probably see a text message before every webinar going forward. Now we've got that system up and running. So, but anyway, back to the mastermind. Hey, we stand by it. We've got a really great success ratio of people doing amazing things, closing deals before, during, and after. We always like to get people involved and making offers. And that's the whole thing. Make deals. We close notes. That's why we have that. When our biggest competition pays me 2 compliments that our students close deals and we know how to market, that says it all. That's what we're here for. Okay. So we do offer payment plans if you're interested, potentially. Break it up over a few months for if you need to be as well. So, but anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for Note Night in America tonight on choosing markets. Hopefully it was helpful. Don't be overwhelmed and I'm going to look at stuff in all these markets. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. You will flip out. Pick 2 or 3 states and just focus on the bigger cities in those states. You'll be a lot happier. If I lived in Ohio, oh my gosh. And I told somebody this week. Hey, if I lived in Ohio, I'd be the Ohio Note King. You have enough there. You should be making tons of deals or offers every month. If you live in Michigan, same thing. All right. If you live in Indiana, if you live in Illinois, all right. Those 4 states alone, you should be making a ton of offers in those areas. Those are like the land of milk and honey for you. If you're in Maryland and get around the foreclosure law, if you live in Pennsylvania, stuff like that, there are plenty of deals in those areas. Yes, there are other states a little bit faster, more deals. Yeah, sure. But there's plenty of opportunity in roughly those 4 states for sure. Okay. Bill Griesmer says, thank you. It's a great group, Carmen. Yeah, we are pretty good. We are a pretty good group. I will say so myself. I'm very proud of how many deals my mastermind closes. Okay. All right, guys. Well, hey, that's going to wrap it up. Once again, if you're going to be in Houston tomorrow night, come on out to Quest IRA. I'm the guest speaker there for the $1 Trillion Mixer. Phil says, thanks, Scott. It was very helpful. We'll use this to help improve what I'm looking at. Awesome, Phil. Great. Elise loves the Giant shirts too, Scott. Yeah, go Giants. I had to wear this because I was giving Joel Block a hard time, who's a big Dodger fan, this morning on the podcast. So if you don't listen to the podcast, guys, do me a favor. Check out the podcast on Note Closers group. I'm sorry, the Note Closers show. As always, if you're not a member of the WCN Crew Facebook page, check it out, and we'll try to get you added there as well. Otherwise, have a great evening. Go out and make something happen. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.